Hi everyone. I think from the topic, the thumbnail and everything, you have an idea what we're talking about. And personally for me, this is a bold conversation and I'm like, you actually want to have this kind of conversation with me. I'm honored, first of all. But I'm hoping that this video will help, another parent, another mom, a dad out there in similar, situation. It will give you the strength, the courage, the confidence that you need or whatever void that you need. And of course, I think you have like a lot of communities, more information that you need to, navigate this season as a parent and thrive and be happy. I've seen her daughter. Her daughter is beautiful. Like, I'm not saying it to make you, feel nice. She's doing an amazing job and it inspires me. She even has a book. We're going to talk about that. She has a book, that she has written with her daughter. And a lot of time when I go to her page, I'm just inspired. And it's the boldness and courage for me, honestly, and I think it's very inspiring. But today is not about me. Please, Ma, tell us about yourself.
My name is Oluwaseun Usidamen. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
Hi everyone. Hi Oluwaseun. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me. So my name is Doofan Hiikyaa. I'm a happy mom of three. I have two girls and a boy, and I've been married for 12 years.
Woo!
Yes.
Wow! What a wow!
Yeah, so I've been a stay-at-home mom right from the beginning. Never worked anywhere else. Yeah. So I'm a writer, an author, a marriage counselor.
Wow.
So that's what I do. Counsel people, premarital counseling. I have a program called the Marriage Prep School that I do 3 times a year for people preparing to get married. And then I have a community for people who want to build healthy, happy and fulfilling marriages. And yes, what else do you want to know about me? I'm a friendly person. I love friends. I'm a friend keeper. I have friends that have been friends with me for over 20 years. And I just love to talk about love, marriage, relationships, family, and recently talking about my journey as a mom parenting a child on the autism spectrum. And so I'm happy to be here and have this conversation with you.
Wow, thank you. That you said that friendly part. I agree because the way she warmed up to me, like we literally met off Instagram and then we'll see each other. She was like, me too, no, so no, she's a warm person, and again, thank you for doing this, and it's nice because I'm also getting to know you.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, just like a side, I was even talking about, it's not part of why we're here.
Yeah.
We want to talk about you called it you're being a stay-at-home mom,
Yeah.
right? Because funny enough, the video I was planning to record before you came on was addressing stay-at-home moms.
Yeah.
How sometimes some people feel as if your life is less purposeful because you are a stay-at-home mom. But I'm like, do you understand the responsibility you have? There's this feeling of, because I'm not in the office. And I agree that everybody has a purpose, stuff that needs to be filled. But I also don't want any mom to feel like you are less purposeful.
Yeah.
Because the season of your life requires that. Please, I know it's not why we're here, but
let me talk about that.
Just in a moment.
Okay. Okay, when we were getting married, I was not very ambitious in the sense of like I want a career. I studied physics in the university and I taught for a while, like during the NYSC, and I didn't think that was where God was leading me to, not that in that area. So I also did like a bit of interior decoration because I went through a course and I just felt really at home, and I felt like I need to keep my home. And then I met my husband, and I heard side notes of him wanting someone like that.
Wow.
And well, I guess it just happened, and we've been happy, and God has been really faithful. When I married him, I think he was making like 150K a month.
Wow.
And I was just fresh out of NYSC, no job. I felt inadequate at some times. I even started looking for a job. But then I knew that was not what God wanted me to do. So I just stayed and I started baking, making clothes, making interior design stuff, curtains, bedding. So I was doing that for a few years. And then we got other opportunities and we went out of the country and all that. And we've been very happy, more than comfortable.
Wow.
Even on one income. Besides what the other things that I do. So.
See, I don't want to make this video about because I have a lot to say, but let's go to why we're here. Because I don't like, so this is why I watch this video now. Don't be angry. We're starting this, the main reason. So, Ma, can you take us back to when you first got? I mean, you can maybe talk. I don't know how. However, you want to talk about it to your daughter, right? But when you first, got the diagnosis, yes, how was it for you?
It was 3 years after I knew that we got an official diagnosis. So, my mom passed in 2017, and then I was pregnant with my second daughter. And at this time, my daughter was still like 3 years plus. And I was still worried that she wasn't speaking, and she was very shy, reserved. Like that's what I thought, like was shyness. And even before then, as a baby, wherever I kept her, that's where she'd stay. We would travel long trips, like road trips from Ogun State. We lived in Ogun State at the time. We would travel by car, by road, and she would be in her car seat, no cry, nothing, for 12 hours.
Wow.
Yes, I have to stop in between, like go to the back, feed her, and then we'll continue the trip. If not, she won't cry, or maybe if she's hungry, she'll just hear one small sound, and she was like 9 months, 10 months, 18 months, the same thing, nothing. So by the time she was 3 years, still no speech. I don't even remember if she said mama or dada or how many times. The words may come, and then after a long time, you won't hear them again. Like, so I was now getting worried, but people would say, don't worry, it's nothing, she's fine. I would go to the pediatrician, they'll check her tongue. At the point, they thought she had like a tongue tie or something. They checked, nothing. So we started doing different tests, auditory tests, to be sure that she's hearing us properly, to be able to speak. Still no conversations with a 3-year-old. She was just always in her corner playing. She wasn't playing with her toys in in quotes appropriate way, like normal way that other kids play. So like instead of building the blocks, she'll line them up or put them in according to their colors. So that's the way she was playing with blocks. There may be cars or all these small animals. She'll put them in a line, sometimes according to their sizes as well. So it was it was just different. Not like, well, that's our own way of playing. Then we decided to take her to play school. I'm not in a hurry to let my kids go to school. So they said, okay, maybe it's because of us.
Yeah, she's
just because, and then she's not opening up to other kids. Let her go to play school and let's see. She went for a few weeks, and then one day the teacher said she doesn't respond to them. She said she should do something. She even said, your child is not obedient. I'm like, don't say that about my child. At this point, we had moved from Nigeria to Cote d'Ivoire. And so I felt like, okay, maybe the language barrier, we're just learning to speak French. And then maybe I wasn't communicating properly with the teacher. I got upset. I took my child out of that school. Why would you say my child doesn't respond? So we moved to an English school.
Okay.
And there I spent 1 year, and I was still not seeing any changes. She would.
At this time, she was
around 4 years. Yes. So the teacher would complain when we go for a parent-teacher conference, and you have to talk to the teacher. How's your child doing? One teacher said she doesn't like to learn. She doesn't want to write. If you give her something to write, she'll throw it away. I'm like, this child is 4 years old. Okay, let's take it, because that was an English school. They were doing British curriculum as well, but it was owned by a Sierra Leonese person. So I'm like, they are similar to Nigerian style, so I don't blame them for insisting that a 4-year-old writes. I know many people want to listen to me. They want their 2-year-olds to start writing already, but I'm not for that, and that's not why we're here. So we got upset again. Like, what's going on? You're the teacher. Can't you see that something is not right? What's happening? Are we not doing something right? So a friend introduced me to a speech therapist. He said, okay, speech is not coming. Let's do speech therapy. This speech therapy, it was really expensive. And we're doing that like every week, once or twice a week. And I don't remember how much, but it was expensive. And that insurance didn't cover that. So we had to pay out of pocket. We did that for about 6 months. My husband was like, this thing is not happening. It's not changing. And it's costing so much. So we stopped therapy. By this time, she was almost 5. Okay, I was saying how when my mom died, right? So we went for the funeral, and she was just shredding paper over and over, just where she was. Everybody was around, moving. Children, she won't play with anybody, just shredding paper. So we went back home after the funeral and everything. So by the time she was now 5 years old, I'm like, this is too long. She will grow out of it. She will grow out of it. She's not growing out of it. She can't put on her shoes. She couldn't. There's so many things that children her age could do that she couldn't do. But thankfully, she was potty trained by 3 years old, and he was a friend who visited and helped in that area. So these are the things that I was seeing, and I said, let me just read up. If a child is doing so and so, what does that mean? So I started checking Google, YouTube, and then I now saw autism. I was like, autism. Then I started seeing all the signs that she had been exhibiting. Because I knew a child years ago who had autism, but that child was so restless, aggressive, everywhere. So in my mind,
you were expecting, like, if I thought it was, would have been that way.
You know, so I still even didn't accept it. When I saw all those things, I'm like, what's that? So I started looking for how to get a diagnosis. And that was because I was going to change again another school.
Okay.
Yes. And so it was now a Montessori school, and the head of the school said they will take her, but she's already 6.
Wow.
They will take her, but they really need us to get a diagnosis. She needs to be assessed. That's what she said. So now where are we going to get the assessment? They said there was only one institution in the whole of Abidjan where we lived that could do it, and there's always a long wait list. So she gave me a contact to reach out to, and thankfully they gave us a date that was not so far away. So we went for the first session. It takes many sessions to do the assessment because there's so many questions to start from when you're pregnant to when you give birth to the child. There's so many assessments, so many questions to answer because it's a psychologist, there'll be a psychiatrist, there'll be medical people, you know, everything. So we finally went for the first one, and we scheduled another meeting, and then COVID. So we couldn't go again. Anyway, that was before the diagnosis. And then it took another 3 years.
So it was 9 years. She was already 9.
No. From the time I knew that it was autism, she was around 4, 5. Okay. And by the time we got the diagnosis, she was 7. Because we had moved to another country where we now got
the diagnosis.
Yes.
So, I mean, how did you feel like for 7 years? It was right in my face. So, like, how must you have felt?
Okay, so I felt helpless first. I felt hopeless. And I also felt pretty sad. There was this deep sadness. You know, you want to talk to your child, my first child. I look forward to this. And I wanted to have one child. I wanted to have a girl. And even before I got married or I met my husband, I had a name for her. And that's the name we call her. Her name is Kenana. And it means in him. Like in him we live, we move. In him we have redemption. So anything in him, you know, every time I see her, I call that name. I remember all that we have or all that we are in Christ. So it's just really dear to me. Sometimes I feel like I have a personal thing with that child, even though I don't have any favorites.
They also.
Anyway, so yeah, that was the question, right? So I felt really sad, and so I started trying to make sure that I could get all the help I can. Okay, I don't have a diagnosis yet. What can we do now? So my sister gave me a contact of a special education teacher in Nigeria. So we had to pay her way to Cote d'Ivoire to help us. Yeah, so that was where we started like interventions. Every day she would talk to her, try learning different things. She now gave me I did a short 2 weeks training on applied behavioral analysis. Yeah, so that one now helped me to work with my daughter, like things like eating. She couldn't eat. When she eats, she leaves the food in her mouth for long. She won't swallow, you know. So I had to use all those skills that I learned. So now she eats well. She can sit at the table, eat herself. It also helped us with that potty training. You know, just a few things like putting on her shoes. There are a lot of therapies that she had to go through, and we did all that later after we got the diagnosis. So it's just such a long story. I've never talked about this.
Really?
Yes, out like in public.
It's like crying. I'm sorry if it gets, you know, like even emotional for me. Like, what a story. And again, like you said, this is the first time sharing it. Thank you, because it's a bold thing to honestly, want to talk about, especially all these years. And I'm hoping this is going to, also encourage, somebody out there. And we spoke a bit about your emotions, but how do you know, okay, fine, this is it. How do we then, work with this? How were you able to get to that point and all of that?
Okay. First of all, as a person of faith, I've learned for so many years. I grew up like a church girl. My mom got me saved when I was 4.
Wow.
I went to a good Bible believing church. So I learned so much about walking by faith, even though some of the things I learned were not, sometimes it can be like denial. You don't want to accept that. So for a long time, I felt like I was in denial. Let me say, because if I wasn't in denial, I should have sought help faster, or I should have done more. So sometimes I feel that guilt. I should have started earlier. So by the time I found out, I cried a lot. I would call my sister and be sobbing. Like, I know my mom had passed. So that was our prayer, and she wasn't there. And while she was even sick before she died, let me just say, she kept asking, how's Kenana? How's she? Like, why is someone always asking? And at this point, I didn't even know that she may have been autistic, So, after she passed, I'm like, hey, this woman sensed something, but she didn't have a name to put. It's not very common. Or it's common, but they don't diagnose it here, maybe early, or people are just denying it. So looking back, I realized that I even had classmates who may have been autistic when I was a child. And that's why they were always like failing in class, and then you look like they were dull. So, so that's how I felt. So how did I move from there? So, like I said, as a faith person, of course, I spoke to people that I trusted, my sister, my daughter's godmother, quite a family friend, so they just all encouraged me, said, if I cry, what will happen now? I have to move on from here. What can I learn? And that's why my sister sent that lady to me to, help me with the child for 2 weeks and then train me in applied behavioral analysis. So my husband and I started working with her, not just letting her do what she wants. So for a child with autism, it's not like they don't want to do something. The truth is that they are not able to do those things as fast as other kids can, because there's a way their brain works, and then it affects their muscles as well. So for example, if you tell her to maybe squeeze something, she will just touch it lightly. And so she needs extra practice. So you can't just tell the child to write. That's why she's throwing her books away. She didn't have a good grip on the pen, so what we'll have to do is different techniques. Learn to press. If you have a peg, she now thinks it's a toy. She's not trying to play with the peg, or peg something, or squeeze the sponge, try to wash, So those things are helping her to exercise her muscles that prepare her to write. So instead of just give the child a pen to write, she's not writing. That child is not smart. That child doesn't like to write, So we'll infuse the lessons in play. So any kind of toy you buy a toy that requires pressing, so she knows that she will use her hands. And so those are some of the things that we started putting in place, and then speaking to her. I write out my confessions over her. I remember all the things God said to me about her, and I begin to declare it. Anytime I'm giving her a bath, I'll say, this is who you are. You're smart, you're intelligent, your mind is sound, your speech is perfect, you're speaking articulately. Till today, she has maybe like 25 words. She's 11. And I haven't stopped saying that every single day. I look at her, you are going to declare the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Every word that I can remember in God in the scriptures, and I say it over her. And I think that's what has kept me, God's word, good support system. My husband is just so encouraging. All the time that I used to cry, he would say, what are you crying for? Do you love her more than God loves her? So God loves her more than you do. So there's no point worrying or crying. Plus, what can you do? What can you do about it? Like, it is what it is. So I think that's what has helped me so far.
Deal with it. Wow. I think it's really, because I was going to ask, like, even the patience level, because even like a normal toddler, so even me, like yesterday night, I was just saying that, Lord, as much as this girl is my child. She's also your child.
Yeah.
Me too, I'm your child. So help both of us individually to work together.
Right.
The level, and I think like you said, it just falls back to God. You
Mhm.
can't rely on it on your own strength.
Even if it's a neurotypical child.
Yes,
it's
you
still
can't.
God.
It's still God. So I really encourage anybody that and maybe you are not even a believer and like this God thing. I've heard enough of it. I can understand the frustration.
Yeah.
Or maybe you are in from a place of why me. Like, do you understand? Or you are maybe
I
questioning.
asked that why me, but it's something that I now heard someone say, why if it's not you, who else? So you want someone else to deal with it. And then another scripture that came to my heart was that God will not let you go through more than you can handle. And so I said, well, I've been through something that was really tough for me before. And I knew that God allowed me to go through it because He knew I could handle it.
Yeah.
And because there are other people that they would have fainted if they went through that. And I said, God, yes. And then so God knows why. Because people don't know. Maybe they won't know.
Yeah.
They don't know that we have a child on the spectrum. Even if they visit us, if we don't say, some might not notice, but children always notice because she's not playing or running around and doing things like them. And so they now ask her sister. But we'll get to that.
Well, I hope I'm able to exhaust because I saw this video not be part one and part two. Right, because I personally am loving this conversation. I don't know about you. I am loving because I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like an eye opener to people's realities. And I'm trying to pinpoint not just to talk, but cases that can actually, really help people. So the thought that came to my mind that like how you spoke about when God will not give you more than you can handle. I remember when I became a mother. So the journey of how this started was very rough for me, right? And I will cry to God that other women are not having this hard. What am I? No,
you feel like you feel alone.
Yeah, my own was really, really hard. I was depressed. I would see my daughter now be full of regrets.
Yeah.
I was, really in a very dark space. Almost everything in my life, my spiritual life, my finances, my husband and I, my friends. So it was like I was all alone in a dark space. And God gave me one Bible verse that my power works best in your weaknesses. Yeah. And I held on to that verse. And the truth is, when I came out of it, sounds like to be honest, Nashe, how are you consistent? We have another videos that because I have the pain. Yeah. I'm not just doing it because let's just come and open a YouTube channel. Every day there's a woman out there and my video is just maybe what she needs. There's a legit pain that people are having. There's a problem out there that needs to be solved.
I think that's one thing that I'm grateful for, that God finally lets me talk about this. And so I don't want to get ahead of myself based on your
No, don't worry, feel free because I feel like I don't go to probably just feel free.
Okay, so for a long time, I didn't want to talk about it. I'm in faith.
Yeah.
I'm trusting God that my child will one day speak like other children. She'll, come on with her results. She did so well. I can see her scores. She's in this class, getting ready to go to secondary school, or she's running, doing sports, or she's, all those expectations you have with your child. 7 years, she's nothing. She's not. I don't have any results because she's not going to regular school. She has to go to special school for 3 years. And then they're focusing on somebody has not even learned to wear her shoes or dress up or have a bath. Is this going to start learning math and English and writing? So I don't have that to tell people. I'm just saying, oh my God, today he said, Mommy, outside.
Wow,
and I'm excited.
Wow.
So my own report is different from what other people are going or other people are experiencing. So that's another thing that I learned, to never compare my journey with other people's journey. Never even compare my children with each other, even with children in my house. Something that's just brought that that made me wake up and like, something is really not right here. So when my daughter was 11, my second daughter, 11 months old, she was putting on her shoes, climbing up and down the stairs. She was stalking already.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on here? That means I didn't do anything wrong. We've had that feeling like we don't talk much. My husband, it can be quiet. He doesn't. But we talk, we laugh, we play a lot at home. We play with our child. So we're feeling like, what did we do wrong?
Wow.
And then this one comes along and she's like 1 year old. If her sister is struggling to wear, she'll say, let me help you.
Wow.
1 year helping a 5 year old. So all those things. So there's no point comparing your children or comparing your journey with other people's journey. Yeah, and then being very attentive will also help. So I'm not saying I was super attentive because maybe I should have noticed earlier, or my pediatrician would have.
Yeah,
So
I think for me, like, the pediatrician, like,
because I kept going there, we will have checkups like this child is still not talking. See, don't worry, it will pass. They'll grow out of it. They'll grow out of it. 5 years, 11 years.
wow.
You see, so now I've passed the point of blaming the pediatrician of so many years ago, or blaming myself for not knowing early enough. But we are making the most of every day, and our home is happy. Our child is happy. So that's it's just so.
God is beautiful.
And how did I get here? So I'm grateful that God has allowed me to share the story now.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready then. So I was in between. Am I in faith if I tell the journey now, or should I wait till my daughter starts talking and doing?
So you have testimony. You have breakthrough.
You get. So that's the part of my faith walk that God had to take me through, and I'm glad that we are here now.
If this video is not blessing you, it's blessing me. I can't believe that my channel blesses me. If I was able, I would do my channel only for myself. I am blessed. Okay, so I'd like for us, I know you have a book that's coming out, and because we also spoke about it, because even for your children, it's also another reality. I remember there was time I was at the airport, and there was I think they were relocating or traveling, and then the child comes out of the car. So thankfully, I'm even a bit aware because he came out. I don't know if he's autistic, but you could tell from his body coordination. So he hits an elderly man. So the man was about to get offended, and I was like, oh sir, he didn't do this. The man now realized that, oh, okay, so he wasn't a bit, but I could see the siblings also trying to navigate it with their mom. So how has it been like? I mean, speak on your book and how that has been like and what all of that is about.
Okay, so like I said earlier, my second daughter, I call her my child of consolation because my mom passed when I was pregnant with her, and then she came out. She came looking almost exactly like my mom. Her expressions, her smile, everything. So, and then her growing up made me understand that I didn't do anything wrong with her older sister. So it just kind of gave me that comfort. So that's what I call her. And so there's something that my husband and I do is that we have one-on-one times with the children, so no one feels left out. So sometimes maybe I'm taking a selfie with my older daughter. They don't say, "No, I want to come in." I'll say, "No, it's not your turn now." So they all take turns. And sometimes I'll take a walk with my older daughter. Next time maybe I'll go with my younger daughter, or the daddy will go on a ride with the little one, the boy, or something. So all of them get to feel us individually. So at a point when my younger daughter, she's so active, she wants to do everything, she wants to play like make believe, pretend play, and then her older sister isn't responding as she wants. She starts to cry and say, "Oh, Kenna doesn't want to play with me," and then I have to start to explain, and teach her like that. And then when my older daughter crosses any milestone, says a new word, does something she couldn't do before, we celebrate, we rejoice, we exaggerate the celebration, and then she sees it. So I don't know if you saw a video that I posted recently of both of them. I was trying to take pictures of them, and my older daughter, she didn't like pictures before, so either run away, cover her face, or just keep turning, and so it was really difficult to take pictures. But we have to clear, bravo, CK. So her younger sister now learns it, and we're trying to take pictures, and then she's the one saying, bravo, KK, and then she turns, and then we get a picture of her smiling, So she sees the way we model the love, the praise, the, appreciation of her sister, and then she does the same. Then another thing that we did is that we don't put them in the same school. Of course, the other one needs special attention, so most of the time, her school has to be one that can give her what she needs. So we won't put them in the same school. Once we wanted to But then the school my younger daughter went to was certain that they didn't have what the older one needed. So it was just perfect. Because this one, she wants to take responsibility, and we don't want her to get lost in caring for her older sister. Yes, so that's one thing. As another thing that's very important to us is that our children maintain their individuality and they enjoy being who they are and what they do without any interference from anyone. So we don't want them feeling like this one's getting more attention than the other. And I know that parents with special children tend to do that, especially if they have a lot of health challenges. Thankfully, ours doesn't have those kinds of. There's some that have to deal with heart issues, breathing issues, depending on the condition, and so they tend to pay more attention to the child than needs, and then the other ones feel left out. That's why they are called glass siblings. Like they are fragile. And so there's something like that in the autism community. So people who have siblings, autistic children with siblings, those siblings are called glass siblings because the parents tend to neglect them and give all the attention to them, and that doesn't happen in our home. Thank God for His grace, for the support that we give each other. My husband and I, for years, we're just us, no help, no nanny or nothing. And thankfully, for the times that we had a help, whether a living one or one who came and went, they were able to understand what we're dealing with. Yes, and right now we're just so thankful for a beautiful one that God has given us. She's so helpful. We can travel if we want and leave our kids. So we can. That's a big. Yes. That's a very big. If you're so, and then we also make sure that they don't pamper yes, and say, oh, you can't do it, just leave it. So everyone has chores or something that they can do based on their abilities. So that's beautiful. I hope I answered. Yes. So I think you can please let me tell us about the book. Let's talk about the book. So how do we get to this point? I said I'm an author, right? I've written one book. I've written a few small books for my programs, and then I write like every day for marriage and relationships. And so talking about autism, I felt like it was just common that parents always talk about their experiences raising children with special needs. And so I just felt like let's hear it from the siblings perspective. And so I started reading about it. How do siblings feel? I've had a conversation with like educators, with someone who's a sibling of an autistic person, and she has two autistic children. And so she has been on this journey for so many years, and so I shared the idea with her. I even shared the story with her. So this is amazing, this is fantastic, people want to read this. So how did I come about this? I do want to tell a story from my perspective. I want people to hear it from my daughters. And so that's my second daughter. And she said she wants to be like me. I was so honored when she said that. I'm like, why do you want to be like me? She said she wants to write a book and have a book like me. And she's so good at telling stories. She has journals. So I started buying her journals from when she was maybe like 4 years. She has been writing everywhere we've traveled to, everything we do, people that she's met, so she keeps writing and writing, telling stories. Like that. I'm like, so why don't we tell the story about how you feel about being a sister, about being a sister and autism? What do you think? She's like, okay. I remember when we did this. When we said, don't talk, just write it. And so she started writing. She said, can she write it on my laptop? I'm like, go ahead. And so she types it. I leave her. And when I come, I'm like, she wrote all this. She remembers things from when she was 2 years old. And so I just had to put it together, and so that's how the book came up. And then getting the title, like, what should you say? Should it be something fancy? Actually, in my heart, like autism from a sibling's perspective, or just through the eye of a sibling. So that's just it. Let them see the autism there, and then let it catch their attention. And it's coming from a sibling's perspective. Yeah, and so she writes all that different things about places they've gone to together. Some people who have special kids don't want to go out with them. They don't even want to be seen in the public. The children are so much stressed. They have to carry extra bags because the child may, if the child is not potty trained early, they'll have to keep changing the children, or the children like different kinds of foods, not like other people. Some are picky eaters, so you always have to have the kind of things that they want in your bag, you know. So I remember when my daughter went to a special school, she was 7 at this point, and they asked that, does she use diapers? We said no. Like, wow.
Can you imagine?
They have older kids there.
Wow.
Yes. So, and like when I walked out of that school premises, I had tears in my eyes.
Hey.
You think you're going through something,
and you don't know
then,
what, like,
you know. And then some people say your daughter doesn't look autistic, and then we are upset. What does autism look like? You don't carve, you don't have a picture in your head that this is how the person is supposed to look. It's something, the way their brain works, not because they did anything wrong. There's no cause per se. We just say it's the devil. That's it. The devil caused it. You know, some people say it's vaccines, but there's no research that verifies that. You know, so we just have to do the work of helping them learn in the way that they prefer and in their time. It might take a long time. You need to use pictures, and we talk about that in the book as well. Different techniques that we have used so far that has helped us.
Amazing, well done. So. And I just thought of this as you were talking, just to encourage even you and any mom. I have a cousin, so he's not autistic, but he has dyslexia. Yes, right. And I know there's a bit of the coordination sometimes when he's really ill. It's it's really a lot. Yeah. I mean, he grew up in London, but currently, as of now, he's married. Okay. And I mean, he has like a social. Apart from the many other things, I mean, he went to school, and for considering his this before that he finished with a degree. I think he even did a master's. Currently, he's teaching. Right. Aside that, he has many businesses. He recently won, because he has a page where he speaks on dyslexia, and he recently won social media influencer award. So, and he's a child of God. Do you understand? So he didn't even grow up in Nigeria where everybody is even speaking in tongues at church program, and he's a child of God. So whatever it is, every little thing that we are doing right now, in the end, do you understand? Like it's it's going to just to encourage any parent also out there.
Yeah. So it was going back to God and going back to God's word. What has God said to you? So there's a word that God gave me in Psalm 71 verse 6, talking about how God knew our child. Like, it is him that made her. And there's a line that I love so much that says, and he has made her a miracle. We call her a miracle, one, because of this lack of coordination and no sense of danger. When she was 5 years old, she walked out of the house, jumped into the pool, drowned, and died. But she came back to life. After we prayed and called her back and called her, it's just a long story, but she came back to life. And so, one thing that we hold on to, like, if God could raise her back from the dead, then autism is not a finality of her life. It's not what is going to define her life. Autism, diagnosis or not, we see her thriving and becoming all that God has called her to be. So if we could go through this journey, which we're still on, you also can go through whatever it is you're dealing with, raising your child, whether it's a child on the spectrum or a child that is a troubled child or whatever it is. There's nothing that you can't go through as long as you have a word that God has given you, are holding on to, and you can depend on him every single day. I spoke about patience. You will see that your patience, your love walk will be strengthened. Just see it as exercising those muscles, an opportunity to exercise those muscles, and just keep going. Don't get tired. There'll be tired days, but as much as you can, share with someone when you feel burdened. There's some times when I thought that we have passed the stage, and you think that she's better now. She can do this better than she did before, and then maybe she makes a mistake. She sleeps, she does something like, how can you still be doing this at this point? And I've cried again over the phone to my sister or to my friends. I'm like, I'm exhausted. Feel free to feel that way, but just pick yourself up again and keep going. Don't let the devil steal your joy. If that joy goes away, then you're done for. There's a book I read years ago that says if the devil can steal your joy, he can keep your goods. So don't let the devil steal your joy.
Wow. Honestly, I think on that note, I want to end this video because I don't think there's any. Like, I was looking at like, what does I want to ask after such, deep words? What I also do is I'm put your handle at different points, your Instagram handle, so people can at least check your page. I feel like maybe this is going to be like a platform because I just feel like this is needed, right? There's more. Like, it doesn't end here, it starts here. Honestly, I feel like this is just, it's starting. Wow, that's all I can say.
Thank you.
Wow, I'm looking forward to editing this video because I get to watch it and listen again and be wowed again. But I think, yes, we've said final words. Thank you for watching this video. If you stay till now, and I would like to just personally, please, let's be kind to parents. I think I'm going to do another video on teachers. I have say, if you guys read my list of YouTube videos I still want to do, I have a lot I still want to do. So if you are someone watching this and you would like to even come here, maybe you are a teacher, you're in whatever area that relates to parenting, motherhood, please, reach out to me. I'm happy to have you on my channel and, talk about these things. But I would like to speak to other parents. Yoruba people, let me not be tribalistic here. I'm Yoruba girl before you think, right? But please, let's be kind. Do you understand? The truth is, even sometimes I'm not sure what to say. Like, I don't know what may seem off, what may come off as offensive. So even me, I'm careful. But the least you can do is be kind. Do you know you may not get it right,
but that's what they need. Can I help you? Do you need help? If you see a mom looking maybe clumsy or the child all over the place. There's one that I don't know if you're going to add this one, Sha, but let me just because it's getting so long. They say the child is throwing tantrums, the child is this and that. Sometimes it's not a tantrum, it's called a meltdown because the world is so much for them. Everything is either too loud, like that's how I used to do, like when we go out because there's too much noise, or the lights in the mall, or cars passing, honking. It still bothers some kids. So it's just their way of expressing discomfort. Or it's not like they are stubborn or they just want to scatter everywhere, So it's just like you said, just be kind and ask, how can I help? Or what do you need?
Okay, I think that's a good thing. How can I help? What do you need? Right. And of course, please remember to subscribe, like, share, drop a comment. And if you have more questions, in the comment section, whatever it is, please feel free to ask. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.